Hey Aries, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for September 5th through the 11th, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, Aries, so this week we've got a few things going on. The week's sort of split up into two parts. The first half has some supportive aspects involving the Sun and Venus, which we'll talk about. The second half, we have Saturn squaring up to Neptune for the last and final time this week. It's going to be an orb all week, but we'll go exact over the weekend. So let's go ahead and talk about this first. This is the most significant thing, and I've been talking a lot about this since November, which is when we first had this aspect. So the last aspect here, excuse me, which is about final integration, final culmination of this uncertainty about things. You know, it's been a very uncertain year. That's what this aspect is very much about, specifically with the things that we've been building in our life. You know, the structures, the systems, and for you, what you've been building is, on a general sense, the deeper things in life, which is that 8th house. Hopefully things like openness in your life, vulnerability in your relationships, intimacy, and having a healthy sense of interdependency and codependency with relationships as well. And maybe removing yourself from any bonds or things that are holding you back. You know, oftentimes the 8th house represents the things that can bind us, can hold us down. If it's external, maybe it's debts, maybe it's things we owe that we can be building towards relinquishing that bond to. And on a psychological level, it's old patterns, right? Old belief systems, old psychological things. So very deep here, but Saturn is helping you discipline this, discipline yourself to structure this area of your life so you can have the healthier expression of this, which is, again, the openness with yourself, openness with relationships, freeing yourself up from any attachments or any bonds. And in that way, you're building things for the long term there. But with that, pretty much anything you're building, particularly career related, because Saturn rules your 10th house, could also be regarding your aspirations. There's this uncertainty about it. And so that's the Neptune side to it. So the key has been to live in the present moment, as I've been talking about, as best as we can, doing things like meditation that help us connect to the present moment. And really, at the end of the day with Neptune, it's all about acceptance. It's all about acceptance and really seeing things for how they are in the present moment. Because what can sometimes happen is the mind will project into the future. And when we're aware of the mind, we'll see this, that there's the projection, and it's that projection that can be creating the uncertainty, the doubt, the nebulousness that Neptune can bring in a square like this. So the aspirations are coming along, right? This is Neptune. And also with the South Node helping you release old aspirations at the moment. But they're coming along even though we don't know exactly how they're unfolding. And you can still build things in your life with, again, this deeper side of things, yet live in the present moment with these aspirations. Okay, so that's going to be towards the weekend, and over the weekend as well, we are going to have Venus squaring up to Pluto, which is also, also a challenging aspect collectively. And this one for you has to do with relationships, has to do with your values, maybe even the finances. So there's changes happening this weekend with these values. And the key with this is with Pluto, and it's much like Neptune because they're both very deep outer planets, it's about non-attachment. But this is the kind of attachment where we might be, holding on to things too tight. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's perspective of relationship, maybe it's the finances or the resources. And so the key here is to detach ourselves as best as we can from any, again, outcomes that might be relating to the things or the people that we value in life. And in that way, just like Pluto, who is associated with that 8th house, there can be this deeper connection in your values with your relationships through allowing the ego to take the back seat and connecting to it for what it is on that pure fundamental level. Pluto strips away all the layers so that we can connect to things on that essential layer and level. And that can be very powerful, with Pluto. It can be very intense in a good way. Again, the openness, the intimacy, seeing things for how they are. And a lot of this has been where you can be enjoying self-improvement right now, actually, and that can be assisting perhaps the relationships or your sense of self-worth and your values right now. You know, Venus isn't in the most comfortable place right now in the 6th house in Virgo, but you do have Jupiter in here. So there's positive energy for you to be developing yourself. You know, whether it's through your routine, your work, your crafts, your diet, your regimens, you know, all this personal development stuff is great with Jupiter at the moment, helping you see opportunities, and with Venus here calling you to do this for yourself. And it's through that personal development, I think you'll find that it is coming through your relationships. You know, maybe your relationships are more balanced as a result. Maybe your values are, the finances, these kinds of things. And this is a great weekend to make change with that, right? To step into power, to release old patterns, old attachments that we might be holding on to too tightly regarding those values. All right, so that's the weekend. Those are the challenging aspects. But like I said, we do have some easy aspects in the first half of the week. We'll also be in the crescent phase, which is the beginning of the last solar eclipse cycle. We just had a solar eclipse last week, so things are unfolding here about your self-expression. This is now new beginnings you can be cultivating with your self-expression, whether it's interests, creative things, hobbies, or just simply expressing yourself. It can be very transformative, very important right now at the moment, and a great week to cultivate anything new that has surfaced last week here. Basically anything close to the heart with the 5th house. Now the Sun is going to be trining Pluto at the beginning of the week, so good, positive, deep focus here for you to express yourself, and a good, you know, depth when it comes to seeing things for how they are. And this has been Pluto transforming and changing your worldview. So it could be a great day for philosophy, expressing that philosophy, you know, adventurous spirit, opening your horizons a bit. Very supportive there with the self and self-expression. Now Venus sextiling up to Saturn also here around Tuesday, Wednesday. This is good for the relationships in the sense that there's groundedness. It's not a major aspect, it's just an opportunity. But collectively, there's this opportunity for, again, deeper connection. This can be a lot easier in the first half of the week where you have the discipline, the maturity, and the groundedness in those values. And it could be good for cultivating those financial resources as well. All right, but yep, that's the week in a nutshell. Definitely an emphasis on Saturn squaring up to Neptune. This will be the most important aspect, which is about this final culmination and integrating a lot of the things that we've learned since November about detachment, going with the flow, and really seeing things for how they are in that present moment and building it, you know, through patience. And that's what this is all about. So with that, a good weekend to challenge ourselves collectively. We're also going to have Mercury going retrograde back into your 5th house. So also a great weekend for you to learn more about that self-expression, maybe redo some things relating to those things that are close to your heart, rework them, re-examine them. But leading up to that weekend, some good supportive aspects here for change, for deep expression, intimate expression perhaps, and perhaps good discipline in those values. All right, so Aries, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.